Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
You are back, Dr. Abati. Good morning. How are you? We missed you on Friday. How is it going?
I'm fine.
Good morning, Ayomide.
Good morning.
You know, I have to call you every Monday. I'll call you Ayomide.
I love
you.
you.
Take that. Good morning, Rafai. How are you this morning?
Morning,
Perfect. Well, all right. All right. Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project over the weekend faulted the warning issued to the Arise News channel by the National Broadcasting Corporation over an alleged violation of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. The Director-General of NBC, Balarabe, llelah, issued the final warning to Arise, stating that the Commission had observed with concern the preponderance of incendiary remarks by guests featured on Arise News. One of the guests referred to in the letter is a spokesperson of the Labour Party, Kenneth Okonkwo, who appeared on NewsDay on October 6th. NBC stated in the letter that Okonkwo used derogatory remarks on air. Well, in response, Okonkwo, in a lengthy post on Instagram, described the letter as an outright infringement of his fundamental human rights as guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution, and that the import of the letter was to intimidate him and Arise News. While SERAP has urged the NBC to withdraw the said final warning to Arise, otherwise the Commission will be charged to court. Well, in the meantime, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has alleged that the Tinubu administration has already perfected an elaborate and sinister plot to gag the media ahead of the release of the records containing the president's alleged criminal investigations by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In a statement by his special assistant on public communication, Frank Shaibu, Atiku stated that the Tinubu administration had become frustrated with the Chicago State University scandal and that it was planning a massive offensive in the coming days. Atiku explained that the threat by the National Broadcasting Commission to sanction Arise News was only a tip of the iceberg, and added that the NBC had been watching as Tinubu's media platforms like TVC have been constantly attacking him and have refused to even air opposition views. Atiku also stated that back in February, the NBC tried to show a bit of fairness and fined TVC for unprofessional broadcasts, including the airing of the Joint Media Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council press briefing, where Festus Keyamo said Obasanjo and Atiku ran a criminal enterprise and an empire of fraud in Abuja. But that since Tinubu became president on May 29th, the NBC has become more partisan than ever. Over to you, Rufai. I mean, what is good for the goose is good for the gander, isn't it?
Sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander.
Yeah.
Real quickly. So, generally speaking, there should be a great deal of media regulation in Nigeria. But what I'll suggest is the way we are doing it is not the right way. In a country where you have a media regulation that directly has a direct line to the government, it's not going to give you a fair media. What we should do is have like a consultative forum, where there's a chair anyway, but this consultative forum should have people from different interest groups in society, and they should be the one to review every decision and met out every action by the media regulators. With that, you have a lot of fairness. If you had seen, there's been a lot of articles written over the weekend as regards what happened to Arise and the final warning letter. Because I make bold to say, this is the same country we were in, that the state broadcaster broadcasted a coup on television. An election had not been completed. The acceptance speech of somebody was read. You wonder, didn't they have an editorial department? And it was broadcast on TV and we didn't see any big fines come down. The other TV station that was mentioned, I'm sure you know what happened. In fact, in the NBC letter, they said that in a 20 news bulletin or 30 news bulletin, about over 15 or 16 of them was for a certain political party. The opposition had no voice at all. Furthermore, in all of this rigmarole as regards the electoral process, the EU reports adjudge Arise to be the most fair and the most balanced out of all the media houses when you see the catchment as regards the disposition on who were given, which kind of view were given sides. And it's in the EU report. Go check me. Don't take my word for it. Go to the EU report. But most importantly, we have also had many faux pas. And I'll go back to the case of NSAS. I remember I did ask a very pertinent question. 3 TV stations were fined by the regulators under Mr. Armstrong in Dutch back then. And I did ask, what did the NBC use to authenticate the videos that they say were not true, that were fake videos? Till today, there's no technology as regards that they came out in their position for. But most of those videos were verified by various verification tools out there because it was online, it was digital. I think what we should do is we should make a National Broadcasting Commission more independent of the government. Because you see, if you still have it in such a way that it's couched that the minister can just make a ring and says, oh, look at them, you will have cases of not being fair. Furthermore, they talked about the election campaign, they talked about the case of Dino Melai and all of that. I remember, and they said we put it back on watch. I remember how we berated Dino Melai here on What's Trending and said what he did was. But you see, the funny, they don't see it. But a presidential candidate of a certain political party said all sorts of words like, oh, labor in vain, this one, just lie statistics and all of that. And it was shown on TV and we didn't see. A vice presidential candidate of a political party at some point called the sitting vice president ice cream seller in this country. We didn't see all of that. All we just want for is a great deal of fairness. But in this iteration of what the NBC is, you can't have that level except we have a consultative body that reviews every media decision in the country.
Right.
That's just it. But as regards the feedbacks we'll take our feedbacks and introspect.
All right, Dr. Abati, Atiku has alleged that, the Tinubu administration is about to gag the media. I mean, owing to also this fine, but also Kenneth Okonkwo made a concrete statement in that his lengthy post on Instagram saying that, what he did on air was normal and it was, a way of gagging him if they were to sanction him with that letter.
Okay, just a number of things. The first is this. Kenneth Okonkwo knows very well that, if he feels that his fundamental human rights have been infringed upon, he knows how to seek relief.
Yes.
He can sue the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. The NBC is not above the law. No institution is above the law. And accordingly, he has quoted sections 38, 39, and 22 of the 1999 Constitution, saying that his rights have been infringed upon. There is something fundamental, enforcement of fundamental human rights, under our laws. So if he feels that he's been maligned, he should go to court. He should sue the NBC. However, the second point to be made here is that there are no rights under the 1999 Constitution or any known constitution that is absolute. And which is why, there are qualified rights. That is why your right to the freedom of expression does not extend to giving you the right to defame other people, either through libel or through slander, the two categories of defamation. The third point also is that those who are saying that the NBC, as a regulator in the industry, should not be selective, should not be used as a political tool, they are also very correct.
Right.
The NBC must be seen to be independent, to be neutral, to be fair to all parties concerned. In this particular case, the allegation is that, look, NBC is acting as if it's a political wing of the All Progressives Congress. And that's something that the Director-General, Mr. llelah, should pay attention to. I've seen over the weekend some people saying, look, some other stations that are affiliated to those who are in government, they give their platform to people to spew all kinds of things. Why have they not also been sanctioned?
Issue the letters or sanctioned.
However, my own concern is the way the letter itself is phrased. NBC as the regulator, yes, can intervene through the National Broadcasting Code at people, but what is the meaning of final warning? That sounds apocalyptic. And I think that Mr. llelah, should be careful the kind of titles that he uses. How do you give a media house final warning? That sounds like a threat, an open threat, and it's apocalyptic. And other people can can just, latch on to that. And with specific regard to the morning show and Dele Farutime, I think that it's also important that the NBC monitors pay enough attention. Because you will recall that on that day, when Dele Farutime made all those claims, I cautioned him immediately.
Yes.
And I told him, maybe they should at least pay enough attention. I cautioned him to say that, look, you cannot use this platform to make these statements. And he said he was taking ownership of it. He also said certain things about the CJN. And I said, no, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, you can't talk about him like that.
Yeah.
And he said, no, this is not the first time he's saying it, and this will not be the last time. So as a responsible media house, we try to apply that caution. And, that was a way of indemnifying this station.
Absolutely.
So
we do our job right.
I think that the NBC, should just look at all sides of it and not just jump to conclusion in a situation whereby the station itself has taken the remedial action to caution that particular guest on the program. But in any case, this is a very testy moment in the country.
Yes.
And you are likely to find both institutions and individuals, getting ahead of themselves. But what is important is that there is a process. Election is a process. And that process, has gone to the judicial system now. We should allow the courts to do their work.
Yes.
And I keep saying there's too much sensationalism, too much emotion invested in this whole, election enterprise. Can Nigerians just respect the integrity of the courts? Or have we, the common men of Nigeria, have we even lost hope in the last bastion that we often talk about?
Well said, Dr. Bati. Ayo, last week you were asking me, you haven't heard from Festus Keyamo since all of these allegations had been made, because there was a tweet that was trending where he talked about forgery. Well, Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, while reacting to a now viral 2019 tweet in which he stated that forgery occurs when the supposed author of a document denies ever making it or denies its authenticity while defending Buhari's certificate, attempted to clarify his statements. Taken to X on Sunday, the minister stated that until the vendor who issued a replacement certificate to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu denies the document, there is no case against him. His tweet reads in part, I have been a defense and prosecution lawyer at the highest level in criminal trials for more than 30 years. You cannot allege or prove forgery except the purported maker of the document denies its authenticity or there is uncontradictory evidence of a forensic report that categorically says the document was deliberately altered or concocted by the person who authored in a legal sense or who issued it. Applying this principle to the case of Atiku Abubakar versus Chicago State University, so long as the university openly said they do not issue replacement certificates, but that vendors do so on their behalf, all these noise about so-called forgery are useless until the particular vendor that issued the replacement certificate to Tinubu denies its authenticity. And it is the duty of the accuser to fish out the said vendor and get that evidence. It is not the other way around. He who alleges must prove. Again, a lot of, contradicting statements here by the Minister of Aerospace and Development. In one hand, he described what forgery meant. And in another hand, he's saying he who alleges must prove. Again.
The first thing that came to mind, Oji, was that this is the way of lawyers. They can give different perspectives on the same matter. Short of saying that, the olden days when they say, oh, lawyers are liars, don't marry lawyers, and so on. I know a number of distinguished lawyers, so I won't impugn on the integrity of lawyers by saying that that's the general way of lawyers.
Yes.
But if you look at the first part of his tweet, he had already given a base. In fact, that statement said, or. So the big one, just in the same way we debated about the and, during the elections, he said or. So it's either or. It's not. So one is, if once you satisfy one aspect of that tweet, it is enough to deem a certificate as forgery. Therefore, he says, if it occurs when the supposed author of a document denies ever making it or. So let's take the first part of it. CSU said that they were not aware, and Waziri Atiku Abubakar quoted that paragraph, I believe it was 26, in the deposition or page, that they were not aware of a certificate, or they didn't issue the certificate. That satisfies already Mr. Festus Keyamo's claim that if in the event that happened, the certificate is deemed as forgery. The other side, in terms of the vendor, this is the narrative that we talk about pushing. And when we had Mr. Libero Soshoma here last week, we asked him to show us in the deposition where they had talked about vendors, alternative vendors. What you had shown, and even here on What's Trending, Oji, was a process by which you could request a certificate.
Go online.
You go online to their website, you request for it. There was no conversation around vendors, but they've skewed the reality of what was actually deposited to make it seem as if that's what CSU said. Mr. Festus Keyamo is a senior advocate of Nigeria and well respected in many circles. It is important to be able to stick to the truth. Whether the truth was said in 1920 or 1999 or 2023, the truth remains constant. Don't try to explain away something you already established as a legal mind years later because it suits a particular narrative. Nigerians deserve the truth, and the truth should be consistent all the time.
Well said, Ayo. Yeah, quickly.
Okay, quickly. This issue of forgery is part of the major substance of the matter that has been taken to the Supreme Court. There are decided cases on how you prove forgery. Let the Supreme Court worry about it.
Yes.
We are not a court of law here. However, the point that Keyamo made about
he who alleges
must prove. That's a settled matter in law.
Yes.
When you make an allegation, the burden of proof is called burden of proof. Section 131 of the Evidence Act. The burden of proof is on you. Aliyu versus Okoye and others. Betty versus A.G. Leventis. Garuba versus Federal Republic of Nigeria. So these are relevant cases. If you make an allegation, you prove it. Underscore is right.
I get
you. The other part, we leave it to the court.
Yes, I get you. The issue, Dr. Abate, is the fact that in 2019, he had said forgery occurs when the supposed author of a document denies ever making it or denies its authenticity. So the reason why it's such an issue for Keyamo is because of that, nothing more than that.
This is before the court.
Yes,
the
absolutely.
court will determine.
I'm just saying the reason why it was trending is because of that.
Public opinion is not what will determine the court. Let them
Understood. Again, it is because of that contradiction that the story was trending. All right, we'll take another story. Afrobeat superstar Davido has been embroiled in controversy after former Nigerian Football Federation President Amaju Pinnick accused him of reneging on a contract to perform at a festival held in Delta State on October 6. Taking to his Instagram story on Sunday, the musician told his fans that he had notified the event organizers in advance that he wouldn't be able to attend the concert, but that the organizers insisted in promoting the show using his name. However, in a reminder letter to Davido dated September 29th, the organizers stated that Davido signed a contract on March 30th and was paid the sum of $94,500 to headline the show. The organizers also stated that they paid an additional $18,000 for a private jet to convey the superstar and his crew to the event. Videos of Davido promoting the concert has since gone viral on social media.
Yo, what's up, Worry again. We out here October 6th. I will be live in Worry. It's gonna be a shutdown. I can't really see all the fans. We're gonna have a timeless time. It's gonna be mad. See you there. One love. Yo, what up, my people? Melbourne. We're gonna be live at the Lux Club on the 6th of October. All the fans come out. All the people, beautiful people come out. Can't wait to see you guys. But see you guys soon.
All right, a lot of issues here, reneging on the contract and, accepting money and not refunding the money at this point. There's also some conflicting reports saying that Davido had said he may not return the $94,000. But I mean, this story is out there because Davido needs to refund that money.
This is the case. We've had cases like this at nauseam. The three questions I want to ask: did he collect $94,000?
There's a letter, yes.
There's a letter
showing that he did.
If he did, he has to return the money. Did he promise prior to this time that he's going to perform and he didn't perform? Did he send an ample reminder? Those are the key questions, all right? But you see, the two people involved are two bigwigs, you know. So they'll sort it out in court or they might settle amicably. But please, I would like to say this as we wrap up. Agreement is agreement.
I like that. You always say
don't
that.
reach it for settlement. You can't they tell me nonsense. Agreement is agreement.
Yes, well, there are a lot of reports stating that, you know, it's not the first time Davido is reneging on his contract this way. Also, I don't know if you saw that story on Insta blog, I believe, of a man also accusing him of, you know, not going for his concert when they called him. But I mean, this needs to happen. The money needs to be refunded as stated. All right, we'll take our final story. By paying tribute to Christopher Oladipo Ogunbanjo, a legal icon and businessman who died on Saturday, October 7th at the age of 99, just 2 months before his 100th birthday. Ogunbanjo was an early advocate of domiciliary accounts in Nigeria, which later came into existence through the declaration of the Foreign Currency Decree 18 of 1985. In the late 1960s, he was among the group of businessmen who supported local equity participation in foreign firms operating in Nigeria. As a business leader in Nigeria, he was an articulate spokesman for the organized private sector and has over the years displayed good judgment in his various comments on the direction of the Nigerian economy. Ogunbanjo was born on December 14, 1923 in Ogun State. He attended St. Philip's Primary School in llelah before proceeding to Oduduwa College in Ife for his secondary education in 1936. He then obtained a law degree in 1949 at the University of London and was called to bar in 1950. He began his legal practice in 1950 as a partner in a law firm then known as Samuel, Chris and Michael, with Michael Adesonya and Ladoke Akintola, former premier of Western Nigeria. Well, in a statement announcing his passing, his family said, Papa was an unwavering beacon of reassurance, courage, and moral integrity for the entire family, truly embodying dedication and service to his country. That was the occasion of Chief Ogunbanjo's 99th birthday. At that event, they were talking about the fact that they hope that they all go to 100 years old. Again, may his soul rest in peace. He was a good addition to Nigerian history. Dr. Abati.
Well, may his soul rest in peace. Just about 2 months, he would have been 100 on December 13, having been born in 1923. And he enjoyed not just the grace of longevity, he also lived a life of great impact. When he left the law firm that you talked about, which he founded in 1950 with Chief S.L. Akintola and Justice Michael Odesonya, he then established his own law firm, Chris Ogunbanjo & Co., which is now known as Chris Ogunbanjo LP on Hospital Road here in Lagos. And for about 60 years, that and more, that law firm became the training ground for many commercial lawyers because, you know, the main focus is business law. And it not only groomed generations of corporate lawyers, business lawyers, you know, doing people specializing in commercial law. He also has his own children. He has also produced among his own children distinguished lawyers. The managing partner of that firm is one of his children, Abimbola Ogunbanjo OFR, and one of his sons, the one who became Senator Olatokunbo Ogunbanjo, is also a senior partner. in that work. So part of his example is how you distinguish yourself in a profession, and then you also, plan your succession very well. A thriving law firm that he has left behind, but also he has left behind, a life of achievement on many fronts. He has OFR, he has OON, honored by his country, and honored also by the communities with which he was associated. He is the Olotu of Ijebuland, the Lenija of Egbaland, Babaoba of Ijebu-Enuwo, Babaoba of Ijebu-Mushin, so many titles. And more importantly, Babaijo of Epiphany Church in his hometown of Enuwo. And one of the major icons donated to Nigeria, and we dare say the legal profession, by the entire Ijebu community. So this is a major loss for the legal profession, for the people of Ijebu land, and also, all the people he was associated with. What are the examples we can learn, the lessons we can learn from his example? A life of focus, determination, hard work, dedication to community and to your profession. And I think at a time when many of these icons are living one after the other, we need to be reminded of what they represented and what the younger generation that seems to be very lazy, as someone once said,
that was
can learn from their example.
That was a beautiful tribute, Dr. Abati. Well done. Beautiful tribute. Oh, may his soul rest in peace. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.